Hello, welcome to this special broadcast. The interim budget will be presented tomorrow. Ahead of that, the Prime Minister spoke to media persons in Parliament House, said that this budget session will be a celebration and festival of Nari Shakti. The President also addressed both houses of Parliament, and she put a lot of emphasis on India's economic growth, how India was a bright spot in the global economy, and all the schemes of the Indian government which have helped the poor, the farmers, the youth and women. A special emphasis was laid by the President, Draupadi Murmu, on women empowerment and the steps taken to empower women entrepreneurs across the country.
मेरी सरकार ने महिलाओं की आर्थिक भागीदारी बढ़ाने के लिए निरंतर प्रयास किए हैं। आज लगभग 10 करोड़ महिलाएं स्वयं सहायता समूह से जुड़ चुके हैं। इन समूहों को 8 लाख करोड़ रुपया बैंक लोन और 40,000 करोड़ रुपया की आर्थिक सहायता दी गई है। मेरी सरकार 2 करोड़ महिलाओं को लाखपति दीदी बनाने का अभियान चला रही है।
Well, clearly, Nari Shakti is the clear focus of the government in this budget. A few days before the budget, the Ministry of Road Transport and Highway has emphasized pay parity and pushed for ensuring basic amenities like maternity and miscarriage leaves for women working in highway construction. Furthermore, the EPFO has made a noteworthy amendment to its rules allowing women government employees to have children as nominees instead of just their spouses. This shift reflects a progressive approach towards recognizing diverse family structures. Now also, let's take a look at what else has been done so far. It is worth noting that the government successfully passed the Women's Reservation Bill in the Parliament during the monsoon session. A look at major schemes by the government in the last 10 years shows remarkable success towards women empowerment. Now, a significant 56% of the 51 crore Jan Dhan accounts accumulating 2.1 lakh crore belong to women. The success of Mudra Yojana is evident with 68% of the 44.5 crore loans amounting 26.1 lakh crore have been granted to women entrepreneurs. Similarly, the Stand Up India initiative has sanctioned 84% of its 2.1 lakh loans to women. The government is also focusing on women participation in the governance. The recently released economic review noted a remarkable growth with women holding 46% of the elected Panchayat representative seats. Looking ahead, the government aims to create 2 lakh Lakpati Didis by skilling self-help group members in various fields including plumbing, LED bulb making and drone operations. Furthermore, over 53% of beneficiaries in the Prime Minister's Rural Digital Literacy campaign as of July 2023 are women, emphasizing the ongoing commitment to advancing female empowerment in various sectors.
And speaking about the budget focus on women empowerment, jobs for women and greater credit to women as well, the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, as Shivani was pointing out, has issued an advisory urging all employers in the highway construction sector to maintain pay parity, equal pay for equal work, and make sure that basic amenities are provided to all women and the wages are transferred directly in their bank accounts. Why is the government doing this? What is the broader push and the trajectory that the government is working in terms of empowering the women, and what does the Indian government seek to achieve? Listen in to what the Road Transport Secretary Anurag Jain had to say.
Nari Shakti is one of the main focus of the government. If you recall, about 4 or 5 years ago, all surveys used to show that the participation of women in the workforce was very low, and India was criticized at the World Forum for that. Our labor employment data was not very regular. It used to come once in 3 years. So the government has started a periodic survey, PLFS data, which started coming quarterly, and it has shown very heartening results because of the consistent effort by the governments, state governments included, that the participation has moved up from 22% to 35.9%. And this is a very important aspect of the economy. When the women participation goes up, the GDP goes up, plus 50% of the population, you cannot ignore. You have to ensure their welfare. So the advisory is to ensure that all their needs, which are either the part of the statutory provisions or are part of policies of the government, are complied by the construction agencies which are working on the field.
So what was the feedback that you received from the ground, from the Women and Child Development Ministry, the Labour Ministry, when it comes to the women participation in the highway construction sector?
More importantly, it's a question of spreading the awareness. In most of the cases, you'll find that the women themselves may not be aware of their rights and the facilities which should be provided. So in our advisory, one, we have said what should be available. In addition to that, we have said that in a month there should be an awareness session of about an hour or so that their rights should be told, what should be made available. Then we have also talked about giving a phone number for a grievance officer. And if the grievance is not settled by the employer, then there should be number of our officer who can also be approached in case her grievance is not met.
Right. You've spoken about the principle of equal pay for equal work, 26 weeks of maternity leave, creche, resting rooms, separate dining areas for women. All this must be part of feedback that you must be receiving. How will all of this be implemented on the ground?
Now, in most of the good construction agencies do follow this. This is part of the law. Whatever is the law, it is for everybody to comply with.
Right.
It's a question is something which has been done. If you recall, initially we used to have some 43 labor codes. Then there was a drive to convert it into 4 codes and make life simpler for the employers. I also remember there used to be a time when an employer had to file some 160 returns. And a very innovative approach was taken by the Labour Ministry somewhere in 2017 or so, that all those forms are converted into just 5 forms and making innovative use of the technology. So the requirement of all the laws was completed using just those 5 forms. So similarly, the government has been working to bring ease of doing business, but at the same time, what is the focus or the mandate of the law should be complied with.
What this aspect, this advisory that has been issued, what would you say is the most important aspect of this advisory which must be complied with by the highway construction sector?
To my understanding, first is equal pay for equal work. Second is ensuring the basic facilities for the women, like separate toilets, creche, because that is one of the major reasons why women are not able to participate, baby feeding rooms. So if these facilities are there, women will be encouraged to go and participate as a labor force, and that will be very good news for the economy.
Right. Road transport and highways is a very vast sector. You have engines of growth within this ministry. Are there other interventions that you are considering to increase the participation of women in these areas?
If we actually ensure due compliance with this advisory, I think this will be a game changer in the sense that any woman who wants to work should not find it difficult to work. After all, it is one person's choice. And we know that even in the corporate world, it happens when there are certain phases of life. A woman is forced to come out of the labor force and then rejoin, and then she falls behind a little bit. These are the cases which actually happen even at the top corporate level. So something similar happens with the construction workers also. But the government has been doing a lot of things, like construction workers are now, they have been made part of the Ayushman Yojana, so their health is taken care of. Earlier ESIC and EPF was compulsory. Now with Ayushman, they are part of the Ayushman, so ESIC does not remain compulsory. EPFO is there. So this gives a sort of social security, makes them into the formal fold, because huge manpower in India was informal. So converting them to formal mode is also very important.
Right. So the government working on a vision to have at least 45 or 46 or somewhere close to 50% participation of women in the labour workforce in the country. On that note, we take a short break, but when we return, we will get you an exclusive interview with Arvind Virmani, former CA and now member of Niti Aayog, on his policy predictions of the government, some of the themes and reforms that the government still needs to work on for the future.